Just a couple of things. We're starting a little bit early. We would be starting at 7 o'clock, except we had a minor blow-up outside. So the ground rules for the debate are everything is 2 minutes. We'll introduce the two candidates via their bios. So they'll have 2 minutes for an intro. I will ask the first couple of questions, and then we will go over here to Miss Angel, and we're expecting our other person, Jeff Rowe from Grant, to be over here. So let's start in alphabetical order. Ben Doherty is the Vice President of the Community Emergency Response Team and a Good Neighbor Award winner. He announced his candidacy way back in October. Doherty moved to Long Beach in 1986, has lived in the 9th District since 2000. He became involved in the community mostly by volunteering with the Red Cross and the Veterans Day Parade Committee. Though he has never run for government office before, Doherty says he was compelled to run for city council after segments of the community felt disenfranchised, and said his leadership skills and experience and integrity could improve the 9th District representation. Without further ado, let's welcome Ben Doherty. Good night, everyone. Rex Richardson has spent the past 4 years serving the people of Long Beach's 9th District office as Councilman Neal's Chief of Staff, making him uniquely qualified for the job as councilman. Richardson helped navigate and push through some of the 9th District's most impressive accomplishments, including the Uptown PBID, the Liquor Store Modernization Program, the annual Getting Back to Work Regional Job Summit. His primary objectives will be to continue to prioritize bringing jobs and economic development to North Long Beach, to revitalize our neighborhoods, and to keep public safety as a top priority. Before working for Councilman Neal, Richardson was a political and community coordinator for SEIU Local 721, a community organizer in South Los Angeles, and a leader for numerous Democratic and community campaigns. Without further ado, let's welcome Rex Richardson. Okay, the way this will work is Chuck Fowler, our timekeeper, will hold up the green pump out. The red one will be stopped to let you know you have 15 seconds. Dan, you're up.
I'll keep the green up when it counts 15 seconds.
Go ahead, Ben.
Introduction. Well, I think my bio said most of it. It did leave out some of my... Do you need this, or could you hear me pretty well without it? Better? Okay. Anyway, my bio said most of it. I moved into Long Beach in 1986. I was in the U.S. Navy. I had spent 5 years there. Bought my first home at the base of Signal Hill, right on 17th, and have been in Long Beach ever since. Moved into the 9th District about 13 years ago. We're just over on Downey and Harding. We really love the neighborhood. We couldn't be happier. We drive around in a few of the other neighborhoods, and there's no parking. We don't see kids playing on the street. And those are the things that we have in this neighborhood that I enjoy so much, and that I'm here to protect. One of the biggest concerns that came out is I'm talking to my neighbors, and nobody seems to know what's going on. They don't feel represented. They're not hearing things. And my job, if I'm elected, is to make sure that that information goes back and forth, that everyone in the neighborhood is hearing what's going on. We're doing a lot of great things with the information technology. Unfortunately, that doesn't hit our retired people. There's a lot of people that are still doing the old dinosaur phones, if they have that type of phone at all. So we still have to be on the streets. We have to be up here. And that's my intention. Thank you.
Right? Yep, ready?
Well, again, my name is Rex Richardson.
I want to take my name's Richardson. I want to take a moment of personal privilege first to acknowledge my lovely wife who's filming it with an iPhone and my family who came out today. I want to tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm running for city council here in North Long Beach. 4 years ago, I became the chief of staff at Council of Steve, and I got to tell you, we had a rude awakening within 2 weeks of taking office. The very first budget that we worked on, there was fire station Rescue 12 was slated to be cut, and in that same budget, the municipal dam was scheduled to be cut, and we learned a very important lesson. We saw that about 300 residents from the east side of town showed up to protest the cut of the municipal band. This is a very nice band they play in affluent parks throughout the city, and they were very concerned about it. And in that same budget, how many North Long Beach residents do you think attended the city council meeting to protest the cut of Rescue 12? Not very many. So what do you think was saved and what do you think was cut? Speaks for itself. So at that point, that's when we understood that in order to run a real agenda that's effective at City Hall, we have to go to the basics. We've got to get more people involved in the political process because our community isn't that engaged. Now, by craft, I've been a community organizer my entire adult life. So we went to the basics and started knocking on doors, getting more people involved in the political process. We felt that not a lot of people knew what was going on. They had no reason to be involved. So that's why we created a weekly newsletter inside District 9 that's gone on for 168 weeks every week, and we haven't missed a week. We started knocking on doors and involving people into this program called the District Captain Program. This was a program that asked people to take the basic step of getting involved in their community. And we found one person every week for a year. We put them out there with a face and their neighborhood and their quote. We went ahead and helped to bring more neighborhood associations in the community by asking these district captains to bring their neighbors and get them involved. So we went from 4 or 5 active neighborhood associations to 9 or 10. And that's how we're able to be, I'm going to wrap it up, but that's how we're able to be effective at City Hall. Thank you for your time.
Okay, the first question, we'll start with Rex. Both of you will get an opportunity to ask this. Right in front of you, there are 2 slips of paper. Those will allow you to go ahead and challenge the other person or rebut whatever you're saying. This is not going to be just a forum with question and answers. You'll be able to talk back and forth with one another, at least twice. This year, the council received what has been called boomerang funds back from the state. Do you believe that the dollars from those funds should go back to the area from which they came into the general fund?
So, for folks who may not be familiar with this process, essentially the way redevelopment works, a line was drawn at a certain level of property taxes, and everything above that level was reinvested in the community with the intention of blight removal and sort of economic activities to help improve the area. When redevelopment was eliminated, all that money that had built up above that threshold of property taxes, all that money is sort of, that would have gone to that fund, is now going to the state. It passes through a process and we get about 22% of it, or 20%-ish, our taxable share here in the city of Long Beach, and people refer to that as boomerang funds. Now initially there was a big chunk of boomerang funds when they swept all the city's accounts, over $100 million. We ended up getting a big chunk of that, and that money came back to the city, and we had in excess of $56 million to spend on one-time purposes last year. But there's going to be an ongoing amount of money. Now it's my position, and let me be unequivocally clear, those funds came from North Long Beach, our North Project Area Committee. A lot of the projects we had waited on and we anticipated to move forward on, we were sort of robbed when redevelopment was taken away. So it's my position to be unequivocally clear that those funds should come back to the project area where they were designated. So that's my answer.
Yeah.
And now that we've had a brief explanation of what those funds are, I am in agreement they should come back here. But I don't believe that one-time expenditures is the way to go with those. Not if it's going to cost us more in the long run to maintain any of those expenses.